What's going on? Hitter prop video, and we're gonna get right into it. Obviously, yesterday was a big day, and we got to keep it going. So, um, definitely gonna be looking at some of my go-to guys. We always run into the potential issue of guys not being able to continue their streak. So we'll see what happens today. But listen, it's always a crapshoot. You know, you could find the matchups with the batters that have the best previous success. That's definitely something that can be used, but I'm just gonna do what's working for me. So, all right, let's have a looky here. Shorten up some screens and just post on the Twitter page. Some of the guys that popped off the sheet to me were a mixture of guys that have good success against the starting pitcher that they're going to play, and then guys that have just been cashing fucking prop bets for me. So obviously when I'm looking at guys that have that success, you got to look at Nelson Cruz with 20 at bats, and with Nelson Cruz coming off a bad game yesterday, it makes it even more likely that he has a better hitting game and maybe cashes a single prop or maybe even hits a home run. So with a healthy sample size of 20 at bats and a 350 average, definitely worth a look. If Jose Abreu gets back in the lineup today in that day game, I do like him as well. He's hit pretty well during the day. He's hit really well during the month of May. And with 10 at bats and a 400 average, the percentages just work out. There happened to be a bunch of games today that I'm going to be trying to stay away from as far as hitter props, just because of the fire on the mound. You know, you got Kevin Gausman for the San Francisco Giants, so it makes all those Cincinnati Reds that much less attractive. A team like Miami with fucking Rodgers on the mound, obviously he's only going to go 4 or 5 innings, but he could lock down 8 to 10 Ks. So not good for hitter props in that game. And then a guy like fucking Means for Baltimore, you really want to be taking Tampa Bay Rays to fucking get 15 or more hits like they did yesterday? I'm not so sure. And the list continues, you got Jack Flaherty, so you're not going to be looking to get on Adam Frazier or Brian Reynolds today because Flaherty's just a fucking machine. Ohtani, do you really want to fucking go against him? I'm surprised he's pitching this well, but I don't know that much about baseball. Corbin Burns, he's on the mound for Milwaukee, so Andrew Benintendi is definitely going to be on my list, but I don't know if any other Royal will make it to it. And then Kershaw, like the dude's pitching insane right now. So, but that won't stop me from taking Max Muncie, because Max Muncie once again yesterday had a fucking single. What's going on, Chris Brady? How you doing, man? So a lot of fucking interest there for me personally. All right. In the Miami game, even though Eflin has been very good, I do like a guy that Connor Mack took on his home run jack of the day a couple days ago, and Adam Duvall. Obviously, Duvall did a lot of his damage when he was with the Cincinnati Reds, but I do think that at 417 and 12 at bats for starting pitcher today in Rodgers, I do think that prevents some value. Brian Anderson, he's hitting 375 and 16 at bats, and Miguel Rojas, he's hitting 370, 25 at bats, or no, I think it's 320. I can't read my own writing. But definitely interest there, whether it be freaking a single and a double prop or just a total basis prop. It's all going to depend on the number. And Bet365 and Pinnacle did not have all the games out already. So I was only able to work with some of the games that obviously I'm highly interested in. A guy for Washington in Josh Bell and Juan Soto both have some success. 300 averages with 23 and 11 at bats, respectively. I think with Paul Goldschmidt today for St. Louis, I think that Pittsburgh's I think it's Brubaker that's pitching for Pittsburgh. Let me just it's Cahill, excuse me. With Cahill and that sinker, if it doesn't sink, fucking Goldschmidt's going fucking yard. We know that he's a low ball hitter. He's fucking 4 for 5 with an 800 average, and he went 0 for 4 yesterday, ending his hitting streak. So I think he gets right back on the schneid today and fucking gets it done. So him and Nelson Cruz and Tim Anderson are the guys that I'm looking to fucking rebound from poor batting games. Omar Nevarez definitely has some low-key value, 444 and 9 at bats, but I'm just not sure he's actually going to play. And he had his hitting streak ended last time he got in the lineup. So we'll see if that happens. On Houston, obviously, you got to look at Yuli Gurriel, you got to look at Carlos Correa, and of course, you got to look at Jose Altuve. Jose Altuve over 1.5 bases, over half a single, has to be just a regular play all the time. 12-game hitting streak, 9 runs scored in that span, 20 hits, 3 home runs, and 5 strikeouts. So definitely good numbers. 5 strikeouts and 50 at bats. I'd like that percentage. Altuve just has just a ton of fucking value, you know. The way that he's hitting singles, the way that he's slapping it the opposite field, like that's a lost art in baseball, is this opposite field stuff. All right. So other than that, of the guys that I was looking at that stood out, Elvis Andrus, even though he's not playing fucking like a serious role and he's batting last in the lineup, he is hitting 510 at bats. Versus I think it's Greinke. I'm not sure. I can't remember. But yeah, I like guys like that. He's going to be batting low in the fucking lineup. No one's going to really be giving a shit about if they pitch him or not. And, you know, out of those fucking 9 hits that he has, 6 of them are singles. So there's only 3 at-bats that he's been able to fucking knock in. But my issue is he going to be starting? You can only take him if he's starting. Otherwise, it just gets voided. So, someone that I'm looking at. The other guy in the Houston game that I'm looking at is on the Oakland side. And with Ramon Laureano hitting that multi-home run game last night, you know, I think he can carry it on against Zach Greinke. Let's not kid ourselves. The kid is definitely on a fucking 5-game hitting streak. He has 6 hits in that span, 3 home runs, but 7 strikeouts. So that's the one concern, you know. He does swing hard. He's not looking to get on base via the walk, which is good for us as well. And in 20 at bats, you know, 6 hits. I like that. And when you look at over 1.5 bases at plus 130 or something like that, you know, Laureano definitely provides some interesting value. And just a side note, how do you not take Kershaw, Flaherty, and Corbin Burnes on the first 5? If I'm wrong on that, someone should fucking tell me. Okay, so Chris, the Blue Jays. I like the Blue Jays against Garrett Richards. He throws fastballs. He's trying to freaking throw it over the plate. Some of his off speed can be left hanging, and I think that with Vladdy on the tear he's on, with Lourdes Gurriel on the tear he's on, Marcus Semien, fucking Teoscar Hernandez, I think all these guys have value as hitter props today, whether it be a combination of a single and doubles prop, whether it be a combination of a single and over bases prop, whether it be an over bases and a home run prop. I think there's value all over the board. I think that Gurriel is a guy that's going to either hit a single or a double. I think that Vladdy, he's hitting all over the field. So maybe a single, half a unit on a double, half a unit on a home run. Same thing with Teoscar. I don't really like him to hit singles. He's a hard swinger. He swings like he's going to kill somebody, like he's Negan on fucking The Walking Dead when he killed fucking Glenn. But the guy hits doubles or home runs. So it's definitely something that interests me. And then, it's hard not to like everybody in this lineup, in this park, against this type of pitcher. Bo Bichette, he still is hitting the ball very well. Marcus Semien's done a fantastic job in the leadoff spot. So taking him on a singular basis is definitely something. I'll be loading up on Blue Jays today. Hopefully it doesn't let me down because, as we know, the Blue Jays have a great offensive game and then they have a blank nut, a blue ball. So hoping that's not the case today, but with the amount of guys on 5-game hitting streaks, there are lots of options to cover if the Jays don't do their job. When you look at Baltimore, they got 3 guys, Trey Mancini, Austin Hayes, and Cedric Mullins, all on nice hitting streaks. When you look at fucking San Diego and Jake Cronenworth, this is a guy that is still getting good pitches to hit. So we got to fucking take advantage of him. I mentioned Josh Bell. I mentioned DJ. Oh, no, I didn't mention DJ LeMahieu. DJ LeMahieu is a guy that I like to score runs as much as I like bases or hits. One guy that we definitely have to talk about, I don't know if he'll be hitting today because he's pitching, but Ohtani's been fucking amazing. I have not gotten on his props. He has 4 home runs in the last 5 games, 7 hits in that span, 6 runs scored. So Ohtani could be a triple up spot today. He could be fucking bases, he could be runs, and then he could be either extra base hits or fucking home runs. So a lot of fucking interest with Ohtani if he's batting today. Another guy on San Diego is Victor Caratini. He didn't play yesterday or the day before, so I do expect him to get back in the lineup today. Who else did I really like? I like Vladdy. A lot of these guys for Tampa Bay I'm worried about. I think that it's dangerous to go with some of these Tampa Bay guys like Brett Phillips, who hit a home run last night, Yandy Diaz, who was on base for a bunch of runs getting scored. I think that the safest way to approach hitter props today, if you don't want to be going high volume, is to look at the Houston Astros, is to look at Jose Altuve, is to look at Jordan Alvarez, Yuli Gurriel, Alex Bregman, Kyle Tucker. They're all putting the ball on the fucking barrel. So it's hard to fucking narrow it down. When I went on the radio today with the great Mike Richards and the absolutely delightful fucking David Bastel, I was able to talk about Josh Fuentes of Colorado. He is definitely a guy that really had a nice 2-series home stretch at Coors Field and has been able to carry it over to Petco. He's a guy that puts the ball to all fucking corners of the field. I like how he plays. He's an aggressive swinger, and when there's a man on base, he shortens that shit up and he's ready to bring somebody in. So with 14 hits, 6 runs scored, 14 RBIs in those 7 games. Obviously, the stats fucking tell the story. Another guy that's just been fantastic is Jake Cronenworth. The guy has 11 hits in his 6-game hitting streak. No home runs, but he's been hitting singles. He's been hitting some balls to the gap. And coming off a 3-hit game yesterday, over 1.5 bases at -120 or better is a good number. With Fuentes, you got to take him over half a single or over half a base at +100 or -175 respectively. And I think that both those have the good potential of hitting. When I look at Philadelphia and Odubel Herrera, obviously I'd rather get more than half a base at -200, but with the way that he's been able to fucking slide into that 6 hole in the Phillies lineup and fucking get some nice pitches, he's done a good job. Obviously, the strikeouts are a little bit worrisome because he's striking out about 1 time a game during the streak, but 11 hits, 5 runs scored with a homer. Definitely worth a look. He's a fucking guy that can take it again to all different fields. With St. Louis, with Jack Flaherty, what do we know? When Jack Flaherty's on the mound, the fucking Cardinals hit for him. So I really think that a guy like Dylan Carlson and Tommy Edman both have value. But if you want to just go with the big dogs, you go with Arenado over 1.5 bases +110, or you go with Goldie over 1.5 bases +100. So I'm going to be on Goldie. I'm going to be on Arenado for sure. I'm not sure how many more Cardinals I add, but I do think that I'll add someone close to the bottom of the lineup, and I do think that I'll end up adding Carlson and Edman. I already talked about Benintendi. Listen, Benintendi's hitting fucking 350 this month through fucking 19 days of the month. So I really don't think it's a 7-day fucking pattern or anything like that. I think it's a legitimate fucking, I've adapted, I'm ready to go. And it's very indicative because they moved him up from the 6 hole to the 3 hole. So he's playing in a fucking part of the lineup that demands production. I think he will produce. So over half a base at -200, over half a single at -110 is good numbers to me, in my opinion. Yeah, I'm not really sure about full game totals, Chris. I exclusively do the hitter props just so that I can negate anything like that. I'm playing the matchups. I'm playing the form of the player at the time. And then I'm just playing who's been able to do the best body of work so far this season. So if you're not hitting 300 or over, I'm not letting you fall into that category. There's nothing interesting to me about betting Seattle Mariner player props. It's one of the teams that I can easily cross off my to-do list very early on in my study. But listen, I do think that there is value with Detroit. I think that with Jeimer Candelario, I think that with Harold Castro, I think that with even Miguel Cabrera, Jonathan Scope, all 4 of those guys have been hitting the baseball really well this month. All those 4 guys have been able to translate it from home hitting to road hitting, where Robbie Grossman hasn't really shown me that he can do that. I think that Candelario, I think that Harold Castro are the best value plays with with Detroit, and then Jonathan Scope. If you want to add Miggy, I definitely would support that. That's a Big Show special, but I do like Candelario, I do like Scope, and I do like Harold Castro a lot. Harold Castro is definitely up and coming. He's a nice left-hander that can take it up the middle and can freaking pull it through the gap even if they shift on him. So definitely interest there. A guy for the Atlanta Braves that I've been on a couple times and I've also missed a couple times is Austin Riley. Austin Riley is a borderline 300 hitter. He's batting 6th, 7th in that type of hole in the lineup, which means that he is going to see better pitches. I'm not a baseball expert, but I know a lot of baseball experts. And when I listen to them and I read what they say, they always talk about that pitchers will have a tendency to lose that adrenaline going up against a hitter in that part of the lineup. So it's just something that has proven fruitful, and I'm just going to keep on fucking pounding it. Now, on to my favorite team to bet on when it comes to these props is the Houston Astros, plain and simple. With Jose Altuve over half a single, over 1.5 base, plus 120 and minus 110 respectively. Jordan Alvarez, with him hitting a double yesterday, I think that over 1.5 bases is a good play in case he hits a home run today, but I'd also be interested in getting on a singles prop. Alex Bregman plus 125 over 1.5 bases. It is very likely and possible that he goes and hits 2 singles. So I think that with Bregman, he's batting in a part of the lineup that you expect him to do what he's doing, but there is no way of pitching around him. That's what I really like about Houston. A pitcher has to go right after a guy until you get to that 7, 8, and 9 hole with like Maldonado and fucking what's that kid name? Miles Straw or McCormick down there. Kyle Tucker was my favorite guy to be in the 9-hole spot because he was seeing so many better pitches, knowing that Altuve was the guy batting behind him. I still like Yuli Gurriel today. I just think that he's a fucking 340. He's like a 340 hitter, and he's been able to hit that well so far this month. So there's no point in just backing off the train. Obviously, there's a good chance that he doesn't get hits today, but I think that against Cahill, I think that these Astros are going to be able to put the bat on the ball. Hold on 1 second. What was that? Oh, against Montas, excuse me. Sorry, I'm confusing my pitchers. Obviously with Montas, definitely has had some success. This is a highly contentious series for Oakland. You saw the emotion last night from both teams. And Montas has been good, he's been good when it comes to the win-loss column and giving up runs. But like I've always say with these hitter props, you don't necessarily need runs getting scored. You need consecutive hits. You need guys getting on base without walks. So when you look at the career numbers, obviously Altuve has good numbers, Correa has good numbers, Gurriel has good numbers, Maldonado has good numbers in a decent sample size. Obviously, you have a little bit of worry about Alvarez and Bregman and freaking Kyle Tucker, but at the end of the day, losing that game last night probably gives them a little bit more thrill and fight in them, and I think that we see a better hitting performance all around. Listen, with hitter props, the great thing about it is you're only concerned with the hitters. You're not concerned with what Houston's bullpen is doing. You're not concerned with what Houston's pitchers are doing. You figure that the more Houston gets down in the game, the weaker bullpen pitchers come in, the more advantage it is for Houston's hitters late. So is Dusty Baker going to fucking empty the bench and fucking bring in fucking Diaz and fucking Robel Garcia and Jason Castro? I'm not so sure, but we'll see what happens. I think that today's the next best day of the series to get on Houston. If they are playing a day game, a getaway day game tomorrow, I will be a little more hesitant. But Altuve, Alvarez, Gurriel, Kyle Tucker have all been really good to me. I'm just going to keep on riding what's been working. So, all right. Well, that's all the names that I have right now that I'm working on. But listen, I'm going to be adding more. I'm going to be fucking watching Jimmy the Bag and the fucking awesome fucking chat that fucking roll in that show. Then I'll watch fucking Ian and Connor Mack with whatever awesome guests they bring on. And yeah, listen, I got something that I think is working. I just got to find the right pieces, I got to find the right fucking teams and stay off some of these teams. So going back to the board today, I will say this though. There's one guy that I haven't talked about, and I would be remiss if I didn't fucking bring up his name. His name is Max Muncie. He plays for the Los Angeles Dodgers. And once again last night, he hit a single, cashing a plus 155. That's what he fucking does. Okay? He hits the baseball. He's hitting fucking 335 this month. He's doing a fantastic job. I love Max Muncie. So I'll be on Max Muncie. Games that I will not be getting involved with. San Fran, Cincinnati. Baltimore and Tampa Bay from a Tampa Bay side. Who else? I won't be dealing with any Pittsburgh hitters. I will not be dealing with any Cleveland Indian hitters. I will not be dealing with any Kansas City Royal hitters except for Andrew Benintendi. And I definitely will not be fucking with any Diamondbacks versus fucking Clayton Kershaw. I will say this, though. It is an interesting spot, this Tiger Mariner fucking spot. I do like some of these Tigers. Obviously, we have a tiny, tiny sample size from Gilbert, but I watched 3 innings of that game, and I like the chances of Tiger hitters. Just got to be aggressive, swing at pitches in the strike zone, and I'm sure that smarter hitting coach experts would fucking know how to motivate them better. But listen, if Seattle was going to win a game in this series, it would probably be tonight with Skubal on the fucking mound and coming off getting no-hitted. So, all right, well, that is a long 25 minutes. I'm going to get out of here and leave you guys be. So hopefully this was helpful, and hopefully I make a shit ton of money for me and my Patreon guys, because that's where I post this shit. All right, take care. And remember, guys, this is a public service announcement. Dip your fucking chicken tenders in honey. Put aside the honey mustard. Do not bring out that blasphemous barbecue sauce. Golden honey. We need the bees. We need them pollinating. We need them healthy, plentiful in the world. So use that product. Use it well. And eat those delicious Popeyes flaky volume-filled chicken tenders.